Are you feeling tired? Do you get lots of muscle cramps? Are you experiencing any kind of nauseous feelings? Do you have numbing or tingling in your limbs? Do you have like irregular heartbeats? Loss of appetite? These again could be that, your body telling you that you're deficient in magnesium. As much as half of the total United States population is magnesium deficient. 60% of people do not get enough magnesium through diet alone. Magnesium plays a key role in metabolizing vitamin D. If you aren't getting enough magnesium, then honestly, you are setting yourself up for metabolic disorders, osteoporosis, cardiac events, and much more. Because again, your body cannot metabolize vitamin D if magnesium is not in play. Our body actually does not make magnesium naturally, and yet it's essential. So we have to figure out, how are we getting enough magnesium?
You're listening to the Visibly Fit Podcast. Hey, I'm your host, Wendie Pett. And every week, I'll give you holistic, practical solutions for everyday issues related to nutrition, healing, functional fitness, and behavior modifications. As a naturopath, fitness expert, and wellness coach for over 20 years, my goal is to empower you to reach for greater health and to rise up to your next level of living in mind, body, and spirit. You were created with greatness in mind. It's time to own it. Are you with me? Then let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to the Visibly Fit Podcast. I'm your host, Wendie Pett. It is such a delight to be here with you today. I hope that you are having an incredible summer so far. If you're listening to this live time, it is summer. It's July. And we are halfway through the summer, which I hate to even announce, but we are. But I hope you're having a great one. Are you traveling? Are you getting outside? I hope you are. And just enjoying family and friend time. Because, man, make the most of it. I know we have to here in Minnesota, but I do. I hope you're having a great time. My husband and I, you've heard me talk about this before. We like to set up our day with, just the proper undergirding of God's truth in His Word, and we like to pray together in the morning. And that really sets the tone for how our day will unfold. And I'm so grateful that we do that each and every morning. But I think about the human body and how we may or may not be setting it up for an optimal day. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about magnesium today. Yeah, we're going to talk about magnesium. There's a lot of hype around magnesium, and yet I believe it's for a good reason that there is a lot of hype. And so I'm just curious if you have considered about your magnesium levels, or if you've ever considered, am I eating properly so that I get optimal magnesium levels? And now I'm going to kind of go into why most people are deficient, and that's called hypomagnesemia. That is what magnesium deficiency is. That's the term for it. And so it's a grander issue than most of us even realize. And it's mainly because people are not fully receiving the optimal levels needed from their diet alone. Again, most people are eating the standard American diet. If you're going through my program, Visibly Fit, you're not. And I would love to walk you through that so that you're not stuck in that standard American diet mindset and action steps, so that you can have the health and true health freedom that you deserve. But that is one reason why people are not getting proper magnesium. But another reason is just industrialized agriculture. It's really been a big culprit to why we are not getting the magnesium like we used to years and years ago. I mean, I think about my grandparents and my great grandparents, and they were getting quality nutrients from the soil and the way that farming was going about, but it's just different today. So why do we need to think about magnesium? Why do we need it? And what role does it even play? Well, here's the deal. Magnesium is actually one of the top 5 minerals that is most abundant in the human body, or it should be. It should be one of the most abundant. But again, the standard American diet is keeping that from happening, as well as agriculture, the agricultural industry. And so it's keeping people lacking. And this is a much needed electrolyte. It really is. So I was thinking about a study that I read the other day, and it was a study that was published in the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association. And it says that as much as half of the total United States population is magnesium deficient. Okay. More than half. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot. And so I kind of explained why we are probably more deficient than we used to back in the day, quote unquote, the day. But I want us to understand why we need to make sure that we are getting enough magnesium in the foods that we're eating and also in maybe supplementation. First of all, magnesium plays a key role in metabolizing vitamin D. So we know, because you've heard my episode on vitamin D. If you didn't hear that episode, we will put it in the show notes. It's a great episode and you will learn more about the importance of vitamin D. But if you are just taking vitamin D, and I suggest that you take vitamin D3 and K2, that combo, it's a really a good combo, and also getting good old fashioned sunshine. And now is the best time. It's the summer, right? I mean, we need to get it all year round, but now is a great time. But if you aren't getting enough magnesium, then honestly, you are setting yourself up for metabolic disorders, osteoporosis, cardiac events, and much more. Because again, your body cannot metabolize vitamin D if magnesium is not in play. So if you're deficient, it's a bigger issue than you might realize. Okay. Magnesium helps to regulate your blood sugar levels. And it's also vital to support muscle and nerve function, as well as making protein and bone and DNA. Magnesium helps with our energy production. As most of you probably know too, it can be a really effective sleep aid, or just to help you calm, just kind of play that calming role in your life. Now, our body actually does not make magnesium naturally. So, and yet it's essential. So we have to figure out, how are we getting enough magnesium? So again, if you're not getting it from your foods, I highly suggest that you are doing all that you can to do so. And if you have questions on that, get in touch with me. But you might need to be supplementing. Okay. And that's okay. And we're going to talk about the different types of magnesium and that kind of thing. But I think about athletes and gosh, I mean, I'm a big fan of magnesium, and I know I can tell a difference if I am depleted in magnesium and my husband and I go play pickleball, my legs are going to cramp up. I mean, it's not just that, it's potassium too, that kind of thing. But I know it's more my magnesium issues. So I can tell, I know my body tells me. So if we listen to our body and pay attention to it and don't just ignore it and give it what it needs, then we can, we can train our body, but it also trains us, right? To tell us what we are lacking, and then we can go towards those foods and supplement as we need to, so that our body is operating best. Now, you can get magnesium through all kinds of amazing whole food plant-based ways, right? I'm just going to name a few, but dark leafy greens, and some of my favorites are Swiss chard, which I'm growing out in my garden now, and also in a potted plant. Spinach, kale, those are really great choices. Nuts and seeds. Hemp is actually one of my favorites. It's got 700 milligrams per 100 grams of magnesium. Now, I actually just made these incredible, I should put the recipe in here as I'm talking about this, but I just made these incredible almond butter, kind of like energy bites. And they were so good. But I was thinking about hemp, because I put in hemp seeds, I put in chia seeds, oats, almond butter. Anyway, whatever. I'll put the recipe in the show notes. Okay. So you have it, but they're so good. And you can freeze them, and they last for like, I don't know, I think about a month in the freezer, but they're just a good thing to have. And we had a little garden party tour in our neighborhood, and I offered those to the neighbors, and they're like, what's the recipe? These are so good. So anyway, I digress, but you can put hemp in just about anything, including like almond butter energy bites. Okay. You can put it on top of your oatmeal in the morning. You can put it in your smoothies. You can use hemp seeds pretty easily. You can even put it on top of your salads. Okay. Beans are a great choice. And some of my favorite beans for magnesium levels are black beans, soy, as long as they're non-GMO, right? Organic soybeans, lima beans, um, buckwheat groats. Have you ever used buckwheat groats? I've made some incredible buckwheat groat pancakes. That's right. And those are great, but you can, cook with those. Regular oats, quinoa, avocados. Those are just to name a few, but you can get some awesome magnesium as long as you are being intentional. You really can, but you have to be very intentional. Again, 60% of people actually don't get enough magnesium just through diet alone. Okay. We know that half of the US population is deficient, period, but 60% of people do not get enough magnesium through diet alone. So some people may actually have absorption issues, and that's pretty common. Medications can be a number one culprit for that. Like they have a big impact on lack of absorption in the body. So things like antibiotics, things for like heartburn and acid reflux treatments, bisphosphonates, like for osteoporosis, they will just suck the body dry of magnesium, right? You will not be able to absorb it as well. Taking high doses of zinc and calcium, these are all reasons why you will have lack of absorption. So it's important to kind of figure out where you are with that as well, and understand why maybe you're not getting enough magnesium, and see if there's a way that you can get off certain medications, or again, start consuming the foods that will supply that magnesium that you need. Now, I mentioned my muscle cramps. Like if I go play pickleball or something, I actually notice that I get cramps more if we play in the afternoon than in the morning. So, not all the time, but I notice that in a more frequent way. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I've already kind of used up, so to speak, my magnesium at that point, and I haven't replenished. So that's real important to be aware of, especially if you're an athlete or doing anything athletic, to make sure you are getting the proper electrolytes and, getting in that enough magnesium, right? It could be potassium too, but a lot of times it's magnesium. Now, not only is muscle cramps, that's just one indicator, but you might be experiencing just lethargy. You might feel really fatigued. You might have nausea or like numbness or tingling in your hands or feet or legs even. That could be something that you're experiencing. Loss of appetite. You might have like an irregular heartbeat. These all could be signs that you are deficient in magnesium. It could be signs of other things too, but it's good to know that, wow, maybe this is only a magnesium issue. Okay. So there are many kinds of magnesium out there as well. So it can be a little confusing, I think, for some people, but if you do plan to supplement, I just kind of wanted to go over a couple of the magnesiums out there to kind of give you an idea. What are they? What are they kind of used for? And to get your mind thinking about magnesium differently. A lot of magnesium, it comes in pill form or just in powder form. You can put it in, a drink, water, stir it up, or put it in your, I don't know if you take any kind of green drink or put it in a smoothie, something like that. But there's about six different magnesiums out there. So again, it can be confusing. So the first one I want to share about is magnesium oxide. Now, this is usually used as a dietary supplement to help as like an antacid or to relieve heartburn and indigestion, right? Indigestion. So that's what magnesium oxide is. So if you see like MgO on a label and it says magnesium, but you don't know what the oxide means, that's kind of what that's more for. It's for other things as well, but that's kind of the direction in which that magnesium could really be beneficial. Okay. Now there's another one called magnesium citrate, which you've probably heard of that. And that's used commonly as a laxative, right? Because it can really attract water into the intestines, and it helps to just really soften the stool and promotes bowel movement. So a lot of people are very very aware of magnesium citrate. Okay, because you may have constipation, and that's something that you have brought into your lifestyle. Now, you are also probably really aware of magnesium sulfate. What's that? Epsom salts. That's right. I really encourage almost every one of my patients to take Epsom salts baths, not just after, a hard workout or something like that, or a big long walk or run, but even just to have that calming effect, maybe before bed. And also because our body is the largest organ. So it's not going to absorb like tons of magnesium, but it will absorb quite a bit, and you will feel the effects of it. So that's nice. Or even just for soaking your feet in magnesium sulfate. It has great benefits. You will feel this really well on your muscles. It's like it just kind of relieves the pain and the soreness and the tightness of your muscles. It reduces inflammation. And again, it really promotes that relaxation. And so I love me some Epsom salts baths. Let me tell you, that's like, candlelight, like that, turn down the lights in the bath. Like that's luxury to me. But here's something else. Now we've used, this also as fertilizer in our gardens before, or for our flowers, right? In certain bushes. And so it is a great fertilizer for certain plants. So magnesium sulfate has multiple uses, and a lot of these do, but I just kind of want to give you the common ways in which you might be thinking of these particular magnesiums so that you can choose the right one if you're choosing to supplement. Now, magnesium chloride is a different kind of magnesium. It's actually commonly used up in Minnesota for sure, because it's used as a de-icer on the roads. That's right, and the sidewalks. So it will help, eat away at the ice, helps to melt that ice and snow really quickly. It helps to lower the freezing point of that water. So magnesium chloride is used mostly for that. But here's the interesting thing that you might not know. It's actually used as a coagulant in things like tofu. The way that they process tofu, it coagulates that soy patty together. So that's kind of interesting. Thought you would want to know that. The next kind of magnesium is magnesium hydroxide. And this is often, in like antacids and laxatives as well. But it works by neutralizing your stomach acid, and it helps to provide that relief so you don't have that heartburn and indigestion. And so magnesium hydroxide, it kind of acts as a laxative, but it relieves that constipation. And I want you to think of like milk of magnesia. If you ever took that as an over-the-counter product, that's what it is. That's part of what milk of magnesia is. It's magnesium hydroxide. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that. I would rather you do a natural way if you're constipated. Like, first of all, drink more water. You're probably dehydrated. Maybe eat some more fiber. You probably need some more fiber in your diet. But there's a lot of things out there, such as there's a tea called Smooth Move, and it has an herbal it has an herb in it called senna, and it will gently help and powerfully help to move things along. So that's just a nice thought there. But again, if you just want to bring in some of magnesium hydroxide into the mix as a supplement, if you've got some constipation going on and you are definitely, drinking enough water and eating fiber and eating hopefully whole food plant-based, then you probably don't have constipation. But if you're having some issues, this is the one I would go to. Okay. And then also maybe bring in that Smooth Move, or bring in the herb senna, something like that. Even ginger can help. There's all kinds of things that can help naturally, but I thought you would kind of put a mental note of milk of magnesia, because I remember that actually as a kid. My mom always had that in the cupboard. So there you go. And then the final one that is fairly, I guess, new, it's a newer form of magnesium, but it's Magnesium L-Threonate. And it's really gained a lot of attention because it helps, it really passes through the blood-brain barrier. So it's really got great potential for cognitive benefits. So it's awesome. I've taken it. I actually really do like it, but it helps with support in your memory, learning, your just overall brain function. But it's one of those that more and more people are starting to bring into their lifestyle. It helps promote mental clarity and focus. And I do things like lion's mane and different kinds of mushrooms and that kind of thing too. But I have found that magnesium L-Threonate has helped me quite a bit. And I know I'm getting a lot of good magnesium through my diet and nutrition, but I think we can always use a little booster, especially when it comes to magnesium, because again, our food, because of the way foods are grown these days, we're just not getting the proper nutrients as we think we are. So we might need a supplement here and there. Okay. So listen to your body and find out what it needs. But I was like, oh yeah, I need this for my brain. This is good. So I have noticed a difference though, and really like it quite a bit. But I hope that you'll consider thinking about, how you're feeling and just kind of correlate that with maybe it might be related to a magnesium deficiency. So again, are you feeling tired? Do you get lots of muscle cramps? Are you experiencing any kind of nauseous feelings? Do you have numbing or tingling in your limbs? Do you have like irregular heartbeats, loss of appetite? These again could be reasons that you are, or your body telling you that you're deficient in magnesium. So give it a go, see what you think. But I want you to choose the best magnesium for you. And you can have combined magnesium choices as well. And that is fine too. Yes, you can take an Epsom salts bath while you're taking some, magnesium L-Threonate. So you can do all kinds of things. There's actually, I'm trying to think of there's several brands out there, but you want it to be pure, right? So you want to be a little picky with where you are choosing to go for your supplementation. But there are some that have all of these magnesiums in them and they have different ratios, but you just want to listen to your body and find out if it's working for you or not. But just consider it. And if you are in a place where you're just not even eating the proper foods to get that magnesium, because remember, your body does not make it naturally, then start eating those foods that I was sharing with you earlier. That will be a big help. So, all right. Well, I hope you're doing amazing. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it, just kind of made you, I don't know, just think about magnesium differently, right? And realize that, oh, maybe I'm not getting enough. And it's something that you can, should consider. But I hope that you will share this episode with others and that you learned a little bit today. But I would love to hear from you as well. I would love to hear of a topic that maybe you're interested in, or maybe someone that you would really like for me to have on the podcast. And I would welcome that idea. We've got all kinds of topics. I mean, my goodness, this is, we've done over 150. This is episode 153. That's a lot of episodes, right? And so I have you to thank because you spur me on, and I get emails from you or just messages on social media saying, hey, I'd like to kind of hear about this, or thank you for that episode. And I shared this with my mom and she really was grateful, or I shared this with a friend. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. And that helps to get people aware of the podcast when you're sharing it and when you are leaving reviews and writing comments. I do appreciate it. So thank you for taking the time to do that. But again, if you do have a certain topic in mind, I want to hear about it. I want to be here for you. This is not a podcast that I'm just doing for me because, hey, I got lots of things to do. I could do a lot of other things than do a podcast, but I'm here for you actually. And I love doing the podcast. Don't get me wrong, but I want to serve you and I want to serve you well. So honestly, send me an email and let me know what is maybe on your heart, what's on your mind. What are you, what keeps you up at night? What are you frustrated about? What are you maybe just confused by when it comes to just health and wellness in general. And I don't have all the answers, but I can find somebody and bring in that expert on this podcast as well. So I would love to do that. So stay in touch with me. And I love that very much, that we can have that personal relationship here through this podcast as well. So anyway, thank you again for tuning in. And if you are looking for, you know what I'm going to say, if you're looking for a solution for your health and your well-being, go to getvisiblyfit.com. Let's start working together. It's a 7-week program, and it's a protocol that you will succeed in. You will have incredible results. I see it time and time and time again. And it does include blood work before and after the program. That way you can see for yourself how well you are doing, not just by taking a picture and you know how you feel. All that's important, but we can also look at the blood work and we can say, oh wow, I have a night and day situation here. I actually just had and I may have shared this on a podcast not too long ago, but a type 1 diabetic who went through my program, and her doctor was just dumbfounded. She's like, oh my goodness, I have never seen your A1C levels so low. What are you doing? And so that's kind of a testament to the power of eating properly, moving your body well, getting the right sleep, de-stressing, deep breathing, all the things, grounding, but doing a lifestyle of health and well-being. And so I'm here to walk you through that and to show you how you too can get incredible results, no matter if you're a type 1 diabetic, pre-diabetic, if you are just looking to release weight, if you're looking for a solution. Visibly Fit is it. I promise. I have just testimonial after testimonial, and it's so encouraging every time I read them. I wish I could share them all with you here on this podcast. I think I should do an episode just sharing a bunch of testimonials because they're mind-blowing. I mean, honestly, the Lord is so good. He has given us all that we need to be healthy, whole, and complete. We just need to do it. And sometimes we need someone like myself to hold our hands through the process, and to have a group that prays over one another and that holds one another's hands, if you will, and encourages one another and keeps you accountable, because that's important. But the protocol is super simple, really, because it's all laid out for you. So again, if you are interested, don't wait any longer. Yes, it's summer. Don't wait for the fall. You can do it now. Let's get going now. Go to getvisiblyfit.com and let's get started. All right. Okay. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. And we will catch you next time right here on Visibly Fit. Be blessed.
Well, that's a wrap for today's show. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love spending this time with you. To learn more and get more free resources, just head on over to wendiepett.com. And thank you in advance for sharing this episode and this podcast, following and subscribing, not only to this podcast, but finding me on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, I'm probably there too. Until next week and our next podcast time together, make it a Visibly Fit day.